Today, something very simple but extremely common thing I saw working at Modern Golf in Toronto, Ontario. So what it was is, like every kind of, a lot of average players, they struggle with the classic slice shot, right? So as a left-hander, that's the golf ball that curves big time off to the left. As a right-hander, that's the shot where we come across it and the golf ball curves big time to the right. So that shot, everyone doesn't like it. It kind of happens a lot of different ways. But basically what I would see is a player would come in, you know, they have the kind of slice shot. So in this analogy here, I have my 4-iron lined up to target that flag there. And these two sticks represent the club path. This one's the club path. This one's the face angle at impact. So that player who slices it comes in, the club path is traveling, say for this example, about 6 degrees to the right, right? So it's traveling this way, out to in, across, right? As a left-handed golfer, out to in. And at impact, the face is about 3 degrees open. So if you see this stick as the face angle at impact, so now that difference of 6 degrees across and 3 degrees open, that's a difference of 9 degrees. That's what's going to create that curve in the air, right? So if we want a golf ball to fly straighter, we have to get that closer to 0. So it's cool to see with these sticks here. It's a good analogy. So the biggest thing I'll see, so the player comes in, they have a very ingrained pattern of across, right? Out to in. They always kind of have that across move. We want to correct that, but the first thing to fix is going to make sure to fix that ball flight. So making sure that face angle at impact gets closer to their path across, like the across path. So if we do that, what that'll do in this analogy, if we bring this closer to say 6 degrees across and let's say 4 degrees shut face, see how this gap got a lot closer. So our analogy before was 6 degrees across, 3 degrees open, 9 degrees difference. Now we're at 6 degrees across and 4 degrees shut. It's only 2 degrees difference from the path and face. That's going to create a shot as a left-handed golfer stays right of the flag of the target and stays there instead of curving way off to the left, right? So as a right-hander, the same thing. So it's basically whatever side of the golf ball you're standing on. If we're having that slice shot, we want the golf ball to actually finish on that side of the target. So as a right-handed golfer, we want to make sure that ball flight finishes just left of the target. And again, as a left-handed golfer, we want to make sure the ball flight finishes to the right of the target. So what that's doing is making sure that face angle is closed or square relative to the path of the face. What that's going to do is create a lot more of a solid strike. When we get really across it and the face open, that 9 degree difference, it's a glancy hit. It's not quite as much of a solid like hammer on nail strike. So we want to do more of that. So I always help players with making sure we get that face square relative to the path. A couple ways to do it I would help players with would be just to, in the swing, make sure we're releasing the club, square it up, right? So that face is squaring up. And then also making sure at address, see how when I'm set up to the grip still stays strong. So seeing at least 2 knuckles on the top hand. So as a left-hander looks like that. As a right-hander, making sure we see at least 2 knuckles. That's going to help to make sure that the club face stays square relative to our swing. If it gets too weak, so not seeing enough knuckles in the top hand and the bottom hand too over top, see that face wants to stay open, and that's when we go across it, that face is going to stay open. That difference between path and face is going to be really big again. So that's the main thing we want to do. As you practice with it, just making sure that ball flight stays on the same side of the ball that you're standing on. We want the ball to finish on the same side as the target. Once that ball is doing that enough, so as a left-handed player staying right, then we can slowly start to shift the path, make sure that sweet spot of the club stays from the inside for as long as possible, squaring up the face. Then all of a sudden the shot that's going right and staying right, which is a lot more where we're trying to get it to, if we start shifting the path, we're going to get that to stay straight and hold the target for as long as possible. That's where we want to get to. The first fix is with the face, then we start to shift the path.